How are you coping with the new energies, with the energetic influxes? How are you coping right now? Because I'm noticing that it's one of two ways. I'm noticing that there are people who are feeling the new energies coming in, and then they say things like, oh my God, the walls of my reality are opening up. It's as if this expansion is happening and I'm feeling such elevation. And then there are the exact opposite experiences where people say, oh my God, I feel like my walls of my reality, my timeline is closing down on me and I feel like I'm suffocating and I feel like I'm kind of like the sky is falling down. It feels like I've reached a point that I can't go past. And then these people say things like, tell me when it's over, when is it going to end, how much more do I have to take, I didn't sign up for this, I don't want to be here. You did sign up for this, you are here, it's not ending, it will get more intense. So let's look at why it is that from time to time you're not coping with the incoming energies. Now you might be saying, no, I don't care, whoa, thank you very much, I am coping. In which case, go baby go. Thank you, because that means that you're being a beacon for others, an example for others of how they can accommodate the influxes in energy, but also save this. Save this either for a friend who needs it one day or for yourself if you need a little bit of a boost, a little bit of support, because it's a natural thing from time to time. A shift for us is going to be so intense that it feels like the walls are closing down and it feels like, nope, I'm done. I'm out of here. Thank you very much. I didn't sign up for this. And you're going to be that person saying those things that you've heard so many times over. So before I talk about how do we cope with this, why are we coping with this again? Just refresh my memory. You might say, well, it's because we're ascending. We're shifting into 5D. And then I know invariably when I talk about 5D, I get people in the comments going, oh, Kerry, sweet. You think that we're shifting into 5D? That's cute. We shifted long ago. I'm 5D already, they say. We are 5D. This is a 5D reality. You just didn't know it. Good thing I corrected you because you're a little bit slow, a little bit behind the times. No, my loves. We're very, very anchored in a 3D and a 4D reality. And we are shifting into a 5D reality, but here's where people get confused. We can easily shift into a 5D consciousness. You can go do a guided meditation today, 20 minutes in, easy peasy lemon squeezy. You are there, baby. You are in the most sublime peace that you could ever conceptualize. And you go, oh my God, I don't want this to end. This is it. This is home. This is beauty. Why do I have to open my eyes after this meditation? Because you're going to be there. You're going to be in that sublime beauty that is 5D. That is shifting into 5D consciousness. Beautiful. It's available. Anyone can do it. Shifting into the 5D body is what I'm talking about. The 5D body is that shift into the 5D physical form. That is what ascension is. And no, we don't die. We don't drop the body in order to ascend. It's a big deal, you guys. We learn to accommodate a higher frequency at the cellular level that when it comes in, the influx of it makes us feel like we're being obliterated into 1,000 million trillion particles of light, but actually we're not. We are just reconstructing ourselves into our true essence, the original blueprint, the true essence of who we are. And if we could see that being, that 5D being, we would say, oh, that's not me. That's some angelic being, or maybe even a god, or a godlike being, or a cosmic being. That's not me. That's not who I am. Because why? We know ourselves as this 3D limitation. We know ourselves as the 3D matrix operating inside of the false matrix that we've lived in. So the shift, it's kind of like telling a grasshopper, listen, you're going to become a tiger. The grasshopper's going to go, nice. But no, I'm just not wired for that. We as 3D beings are wired to become 5D, but we don't understand the enormity of what that shift entails, what that shift is actually about. So the 5D being, and I want to just spend a couple minutes here telling you what the 5D being is, because why? We spend so much time talking about 3D and the ego and the false matrix. It's kind of nice every now and then to have a refresher of where does all of this take us? Why are we doing all of this again? Where does this road go? Okay, it leads to 5D. But what that means is it's a version of you that operates in such a heightened state of being. We would call it enlightenment, operates in unconditional love. And what we know is love, but we know a very conditional love. Unconditional love is the kind of frequency that if you breathe it in, it feels like every cell in your body is going to erupt, which gives you the illusion that you're not going to be able to keep the cells of your body in cohesion and you're going to somehow evaporate, dissipate, implode, explode, because it's just such a powerful frequency to be in. Why does that happen though? That happens because in the presence of such heightened love, the immediate discharge of density feels like we're dying. It feels like, oh no, this is the end. It's not the end. It's the end of the ego or the false self. And by the way, the ego, because we're going to talk about that today, the ego is not the enemy, and it's also not something that is your ally. Not your enemy, not your ally. What is it then? The ego is merely the you that you had to be in order to navigate the false matrix. That was the driver of the vehicle that could only drive here in the third dimension of the false matrix. The vehicle it was driving was this. The seat where it was sitting in is located inside the brain, inside the linearity of the chatterbox brain, which is why the chatterbox bugs us so much, right? The chatterbox brain, it's incessant and it's ongoing and it doesn't keep quiet and it's full of fears and what ifs, and it doesn't unplug and it doesn't really know what silence is and peace is. That's the chatterbox brain, which is exactly where the driver's seat is situated. So we're not just shifting drivers because the 5D driver sits inside the heart, which gives it access to the entirety of the whole being. We're shifting drivers and we're shifting vehicle. And when I say shifting vehicle, it's to help you understand that that 3D body of yours is going to become, it's going to metamorphosize into the 5D body. That's not death, that's transformation. But the transformation is radical. One of the things that you're going to see shifting. If you were to look at that 5D being right now, you would say, well, how can I possibly imagine myself? No, where did that 5D being learn all of that stuff? How can I possibly learn it all? How am I going to get that much information? Where did that being learn everything that it knows? It didn't. The 5D being inherently knows. The 5D being is plugged directly into God, directly into wisdom, and speaks from the source of its own truth. The 5D being operates in discernment but not judgment. And a crazy thing is, when I say that, people try to correct me in the comment section and go, Kerry, another thing you don't know, but discernment is judgment. No, it's really not. Discernment and judgment are worlds apart. Judgment looks like this. You're wrong and I'm right. That's bad. This is good. It is a rejection of one idea or frequency or reality and a alignment, almost a attachment to what the judgment perceives to be good. Discernment is non-attachment. Discernment would speak like this. That doesn't resonate with me, but that does. I don't align with this, but I do align with that. It's not a condemnation of another state of being or another idea. It is simply, that's not my vibe. That's not my mojo. That's not where I'm at, but this is. And there's no desire to correct those people who are in lower frequency. It's just an obvious thing. Those people who are in lower frequency, from the 5D perspective, they're obviously just in the process of shifting into their higher potential, but they haven't shifted yet because they're still learning, they're still growing. And so all I'm going to do is be where I am. And my truth is not dependent on them accepting my truth. My truth is independent of them, and it exists. A 5D being holds unconditional wisdom, unconditional love, unconditional acceptance, unconditional peace. So imagine the you that exists that can't be shaken, the you that exists that no matter what happens, there is an undercurrent of peace and stillness and ease. And no, the 3D mind, the 3D being can't understand that. Because when I give these examples, as I've done in past videos, people misunderstand and they say things like, "What? Okay, so that means then, that the 5D being is apathetic, doesn't care about others. What if the 5D being sees an animal being abused or starving children? Is the 5D being going to go, oh, well, I'm in too much peace to worry about your distress, so goodbye." It doesn't work that way. The 5D being holds an unconditional, unwavering peace that is unaffected by the suffering of others, which means the 5D being doesn't join others in their suffering, but creates an invitation for those in suffering to join them in higher frequency. That's what a 5D being does. A 5D being offers a 24/7 unspoken invitation to everything on the planet to shift into and elevate into higher gear. But sometimes there will be those people in the presence of that 5D being who are going to go, I'm not ready for that. And then, yes, they might try to attack the 5D being. They might try to attack the truth of the 5D being. The 5D being will normally just walk away or not even hear what that other person is saying because they're way too busy interacting with love, interacting with truth, interacting with light. There might be bullets flying and the 5D being is going to be so tuned in to the harmonic of peace that it's not happening in their reality. So we would see these beings and we would say, these are godlike beings. But when you tell me that that's what I'm becoming, I'm not ready. What if I fail? I don't feel equipped, etc. So we get all of this performance anxiety and it's totally unnecessary. Because your nature, the fundamental fabric of who and what you are, your very essence is already that. The 5D being will always seek unity. The 5D being doesn't, however, have to force somebody else into its unity. The 5D being can quite simply see everybody in division and the arguments that they're having and the separation that they're having and the anxiety and the rejections and the whatever it is that they're playing at, and hold in focus a reality where everything is peace. And then the people will begin to wonder, gee, I wonder why I let that go so quickly. I wonder why. It's so weird. Normally if I get into a funk like that, it lasts for months and I just shifted out of it. It might be because you were in the presence of a being who is shifting into their 5D gear, their 5D frequency. The power of a 5D being, just one 5D being on the planet, is enough to liberate the entire planet. The last time that happened, and there have been multiple times where we had a 5D being in the 3D world, those beings completely liberated humanity and sent shockwaves throughout time that still exists today. The reverberant echo of their truth and love still exists today. Many religions are formed around them, sometimes to corrupt the essence of what they brought to humanity in the first place. But if we just get quiet, we can still feel the omnipotent, resounding ripple that they brought to the planet. And what they did is they stayed just short of 5D, just short of reabsorption into the full 5D state. Most of them had some kind of story, like we know the story of Christ, where this being resurrected. All that was going back into their home state. But nonetheless, they left an echo. That's what a 5D being does. They are omnipotently powerful. That's what you are becoming. So now we know why. Okay. This is why the challenge. This is why this is happening to me. I am receiving the influxes of cosmic light, and it's challenging that within me that is affiliated to and loyal to an illusion or identity or an entanglement with a past that is simply no longer my truth. And that's the first point. Why do people have a hard time with accommodating the new energies? Number one, because they are clinging to the past, clinging to the familiarity of the past. And the crazy thing is they want the new, they want evolution. Their words will say it. Their words will say, I want healing, I want new, I want to evolve, I want. But at the very deep, intimate level, where only they can go, where only their emotions can reach, they are so entangled with something in their past that is familiar but uncomfortable, but familiar. And it hurts them, but again, it's familiar. And it brings up all sorts of pain, again, but it's familiar. So they're choosing familiarity. And we can't move forward whilst clinging to the pain of the past that we know, or the familiarity to the past that we know. And we don't do that consciously. We don't cling consciously, but we do become very loyal to the story that our persona is so entangled with. For example, we think, I am that person who walked through those hardships, had those experiences, survived that heartbreak, went through that ordeal, climbed that mountain. I am that person, and I don't want to let that story go. So one reason why we have a really difficult time accommodating an influx of energy is when it challenges the story of the past. So I encourage you, therefore, to be storyless. And a lovely way to be storyless is in your imagination, because, your imagination is a place of wonderment, and it's a place where you can practice from a very safe space. You can practice new states of being. To be storyless, you could imagine that you wake up one day with amnesia and you can't remember the stories that comprise your life. And who would you be then? So give yourself that sense of storylessness. And sometimes you know exactly what story it is that you're clinging to. Sometimes you don't. Either way, just give yourself 5 conscious breaths. Who would I be without the story? And just feel what that does for you. The other reason why we have a really hard time bringing in the influx of light is because we have a distrust of discomfort. We can't imagine that we're safe whilst being uncomfortable. Because what happens as that influx of light comes in, it brings up to the surface everything we've suppressed and repressed. It's going to purge. It is going to come up and it's going to be let go. And when it does, I spoke about this on Friday. We had this deep, nearly 2-hour-long call in the PLT, and we spoke about everything. I got just so real and raw with everybody that was present. They got to watch me get triggered and work through that triggering. And it's actually a very beautiful thing to be live and on air and with people that are in such devotion to their own growth that it's safe enough to be as you are, where you are. And I felt safe enough to just let people witness me evolving out of a deep pain that I had held, that I could share with them very vulnerably and absolutely authentically. It was such a beautiful place that we got to be in together. And one of the things that we spoke about in that call is exactly this idea that we're detoxing, essentially. We're detoxing 3D. We're detoxing the old reality. And as the toxins purge from our system, we get this tremendous wave of discomfort. We can feel nauseated. We can feel sick. We can feel so challenged, but it's at the physical level, because remember that the ascension that we are preparing for is a physical level ascension. If we were just ascending in consciousness, I promise you, we would have done it already. It's because we now have to get the stuff out of the body. We have to get those frequencies that we have adopted and absorbed into ourselves as our truth. That's the problem. We absorbed so much of the lie as our own personal truth that we get challenged. We get almost this feeling like we're being pulled apart. But it's not you being pulled apart. It's the pain of the past that's being separated from you. But the pain of the past is so familiar, and now you don't trust the discomfort. So when the discomfort comes, it's almost like you want to stop the process. You want to stop the detox. You want to retox instead of detox when that discomfort rises. Nothing in us is prepared for the ultimate truth, which is discomfort is beneficial because it initiates growth. If we can be conscious in it, and we can be, you can be. I've created a very sacred space for people to come together, to have that sanctuary where they can allow themselves to be in their discomfort and at the same time to grow, at the same time to feel held and supported. So it's available. For others of you, you're going through this at your own pace, on your own steam, and that's also a perfect choice. It's just important for me to let you know that you have available options. Somehow we imagine that growth is going to be painless. We imagine that growth is going to be hop, skip, and a jump into the park. Look at the unicorns and the rainbows. It's not. Oh my God, I'm dying. Growth feels like the end. Although it's the beginning, it feels like the end. And it's the discomfort that is the telltale sign that you're inside that growth. Point number 3. We hold deeply this illusion that letting go is hard. Oh man, if I had a coin for every time somebody said, yes, but Kerry, letting go is so difficult. You know, I talk about surrender, I talk about letting go, I talk about purging. And this is the comment that comes in the thickest and the fastest. Yes, but letting go is hard. Here's the third reason why we can sometimes battle with the new energy when it comes in, because it forces the letting go. It forces the letting go of the densities and the pains and the illusions and the confusions. But we believe that letting go at the core fundamental level, we all hold this collective belief. Yeah, Kerry, letting go is hard. We've had relationships, we say, that we just couldn't let go of, and we're basing it on that. So let's talk about this. Letting go is the easiest thing in the world. And I know that offends a lot of people because they say, you don't know the pain that I've been through. So I'm not saying this to invalidate anybody's pain. What I'm saying is, let's just be reasonable and logical. Here's the best example that I can give you. You know, I love a good visual, and here it is. Let's just say you go to the mall and you do some shopping and you are making that mad dash to the car and you're lifting up all of your bags. Now, in the good old days in South Africa, we had plastic bags. We don't have plastic anymore. We've got fancier canvas bags, so they're a bit easier to carry. But in the old days, when we had those plastic bags, you would make that mad dash to the car with 5 bags on this hand and 5 bags on that, if you were anything like me, and you make the mad dash and you get to the car and somehow you manage to open it and you finally get to lay the bags down in the back of the boot. And as you do, you look at your hands and you've got these almost like those cuts, you know, those imprints. It's not a real cut, but you know what I mean? You get those imprints that the heavy bags have left on your hand. And it's only when you let go that the pain comes, but the relief follows. It is the letting go that is the easy part. It's the holding on that is the hard part, but we don't know it because we go into a coping mode. You're in the mad dash to the car. You're like, I've just got to get there. So you're not noticing the pain. It's not that the pain only arises when you let go. The pain was always there. You couldn't acknowledge it. You couldn't see it. Letting go is not hard. And you know, people will always think, but there's exceptions to the rule. You know, for example, let's just say you lose a loved one, you lose a pet, you lose something near and dear to you. Am I really saying, you know, that sounds a bit insensitive if I say to you, letting go is not hard, letting go is the easy part. I'm not saying this to you in a callous way where I would imagine that you could ever let go of being who you're close to without grief. What I'm saying instead is you actually never let go of that being. If that's a being of love, if you have somebody who's passed away, people say, oh, you must let them go. Well, sure, the memory is not something you want to hold on to, but the love is. You don't let go of the love. So don't confuse what I'm saying when I'm saying letting go. I'm talking about letting go of your pain, letting go of your hardship, letting go of your density. I'm not talking about letting go of someone you love, because love is not something that ever goes away. Love remains. So just get that clear in your head. Letting go of density is the letting go of the pain, of the story, of your smallness. And when you let go of it, you have to confront yourself. You get very real with yourself, very vulnerable with yourself. And again, a lot of people then want to double down and be like, I'm not going there. They try to protect themselves from what they think is pain, but actually all that they do is they're blocking themselves from seeing the pain that was always there. Letting go is pure relief. It is ease. It is glorious. It is a lightness. Oh, it's a lightness of being, and I wish it upon all of you. There's an amazing course in my online shop, and it's called Beyond Forgiveness. People often say, how do I let go of this pain? How do I let go of this something that I've been holding on to? And then people will say, which is quite true, oh, you must forgive it. But we have no idea what forgive even means. So if you feel like you need a deeper level of support on that exact topic, then you know where to go. It's in my online shop. So here's another reason why the incoming energy can be really difficult sometimes. Point number, where are we? 4. Waiting. If you have resigned yourself to waiting for somebody else to fix your reality, fix your pain, somebody else is going to come in and make the world a better place. Somebody else is going to come in and offer disclosure to the masses. Somebody else is going to come in and give me a med bed. Somebody's going to come in and give me $1 million. Somebody's going to come in and do something. Then you're in waiting. Then you're in limbo. Then you're in powerlessness. Then you're in pain. A sincere pain. Get out of waiting. How do you do that? You take personal responsibility. The moment you take personal responsibility, you now have the ability to respond. If you have no sense of personal responsibility, you are in limbo. Why? Because you cannot respond to anything. So that means I can't respond. I'm going to wait for somebody else to do it for me. Point number 5. This is one of the big ones. It's a simple one, but this is one of the big reasons why incoming energy comes in and we battle against it. It's because we're stuck in the head. Now what we want to do is we want to, and we're stuck in the head, by the way, not because we're bad. We're stuck in the head because we think this is who we are. We think this is safe. We think this is what life is made of. We don't understand that. We can't make sense of the incoming light codes as they come in at the linear level, but we can. And we're meant to meet those incoming light codes at the heart level. Think of it like this. When I talk about incoming light codes, I'm talking about God's essence coming in, or the universal presence coming in, or light rushing in to meet and greet you. But the only way that you can interact with that light is here at the level of experience. So you have to have a groundedness in the body, a groundedness in your presence, and an entranceway into the heart that a lot of people unknowingly, unconsciously, unwittingly have barricaded up. They've barricaded that heart because they've been hurt and they're trying to protect themselves. That self-preservation that we thought was going to get us through life is exactly the reason why we get hurt when the incoming light comes in, because we have to elevate out of all of those coping mechanisms. It's such a radical letting go that cannot be controlled. So don't try to control it. That's point number 6. Don't try to control where you are, how you are, what's coming in, what you're thinking about, what's coming in. Get deep into the unknown, because you're either in control or you're in power. You can't be in both places at the same time. Here's a bonus point. Let me give you a 7th one: stillness. One of the things that we've been so afraid of is silence. So we fill up silence. We've learned to fill up empty spaces because we're very afraid. of emptiness. People often talk to me about how afraid they are of this void. They have these dreams, for example, of a big empty void about to suck them in. We have this idea, and it's really part of our illusory ideas that we've cultivated in the false matrix, this idea of black holes in space. So it's interwoven into our consciousness that there's this big, dark, black, blank, empty space that's going to suck us in, and then there'll be nothing left of us. So we very much avoid empty spaces, and silence is an empty space that I encourage you to go into its depth. And at its depth, you're going to find, oh my God, this place is full. It's not empty. It's filled with consciousness and love and light and beauty. If you learn to step into silence, you're going to meet yourself. Let love in. And you know it. This is the time of the call when I say to you from my heart, all the way into yours. From my heart, from the depth, from the core of my love light, all the way into yours. I hold you in so much love. Let love in. 3 simple words. Let love in. And it doesn't have to be my love. Let love in. Love is your truth. Love is the essence of who you are and what you are returning to. I'll speak to you really soon. Speak to me in the comments from my heart, all the way to yours. Here's a video. You might want to watch this one next.